Welcome to the Daily Dish with New York Times bestselling author Leanne Ely. Putting vibrancy back into your everyday life and feeding your heart, mind, body, and soul. Join us every day at 1 p.m. Eastern for Motivational Monday, Tuesday's Tip, Wise Woman's Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday, Food Fight Friday, and of course Q&A, where no question is off limits, and Soulful Saturday. Here is your host, Leanne Ely, and the Daily Dish.
Hey everyone, we're back! It's Tuesday, Transformational Tip Tuesday. I'm excited about it. And also, just FYI, today is Lincoln Tuesday because today we pick up Lincoln. You will be seeing him in tomorrow's Daily Dish, I promise you. You know, I'm going to be that puppy mom. Anyway, super excited to have you here. It is recorded because when you start seeing this at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern today, I will be on the road getting my puppy. Delighted to have you here, though, as usual. And I'm sad that I don't get to greet each of you as you come in, but you know who you are and you know that I love you, right? Anyway, this is our quote of the week. I love this quote to death. When your clarity meets your conviction and you apply action to the equation, the world transforms before your eyes. Thank you, Lisa Nichols, for this. And I'm telling you, if you don't know Lisa Nichols' story, if you have never seen her speak, go to YouTube and check it out. She is brilliant, and she knows for what she's talking about because she's gone from here to there. She's built the bridge that we talk about so often. And I love this whole idea. It keeps coming back to that same message, doesn't it? These are the concepts. This is how you apply it. And once you build that bridge, this is what you're going to get in return. We never get anything that we don't put some effort into. Or if we do, it's just happenstance and it's just lucky. It's not the way it works. You know, laws of the universe kind of a thing is, you reap what you sow. Ever hear that one before? It's true. You reap what you sow. What are you sowing? What kind of seeds are in your garden? That's what we need to be asking each other. We have Friday Q&A. I don't ever want you to miss out on that because this is the one time where I will get into the weeds and answer your questions. Go to support@savingdinner.com, send an email, question for Leanne on Friday, and it will get into the queue for this Friday. Would love to answer that. Also, quote decks are back in stock, and everybody's going nuts over these. I understand why. They light me up. Can I just tell you this? You're going to get 52 cards. Look at all these cards, just like a regular playing deck of cards. And here's some of the stuff you're going to see. What you capture becomes cemented. Doesn't that sound so good? That's a good one. How about this one? Nothing gets easier. You get stronger. How do you know if someone needs encouraging? If they're breathing. Yeah. You know who said this is Silas Farley. And Silas Farley was with the American Ballet Company, also a choreographer. Also now he's going to be working, I believe, in Los Angeles in some capacity as a chairman, department head of some dance thing. I see how well I know. Silas was a playmate of my children when he was little. Actually, he was quite little, and he was the most adorable kid, and just such a story. Anyway, this is the quote deck. You can find them at savingdinner.com/quote. With them comes this little wooden stand. Isn't it adorable? It goes on your desk to encourage you. Now, I just want a little subliminal thingy. When you've got something really encouraging looking at you all day and you just glance at it, you're subliminally feeding your head, your mind. New neural pathways. That's what we're all trying to build. New neural pathways to get us to that place that we want to go. Also, our mugs are back in stock. And look at the great, do you love this? I think this is the best mug ever. It's a word cloud right here with a little heart talking about who you are. And on the back, mindful mug, pinkies up, cup, all of that stuff. You can find it at savingdinner.com/mug. I love these cups because it's one more thing to help trigger us to the behaviors that we want to have, the habits that we want to have in our lives, so that we can become the women, the vibrant women we're supposed to be. I believe that is our divine right to be these women. We just simply have to do exactly what Lisa said and apply action to the equation. It is that simple. Easy, Probably not. Some things will be easier than others. That's just how it is. We just do what we have to do. So find those mugs at savingdinner.com/mug. You can get one for free or you can pay for it. It'll tell you all about it and explain exactly how to use a mindful mug to your advantage. Get Lean CLA is the supplement of the week. I love this stuff because this is on my menu every single day. These capsules contain conjugated linoleic acid, which has been shown to help combat deep visceral belly fat, which is the most dangerous kind to have, and thigh fat. They had me at thigh. That's all I'm going to say. Interesting studies. You can go take a crawl through PubMed if you want to check it out, but it's really interesting. And it seemingly, by the research, is saying that this is really effective. So I love this. You can find Get Lean CLA as our supplement of the week at savingdinner.com/show. Now, when you purchase this supplement, you're also going to get, you ready? You are also going to get the, I don't know what to call it, the addendum, if you will, to the Body Clutter book. That's an ebook where I really reconstruct the whole chapter on nutrition. The nutrition part in the book is outdated. The book's 17 years old. Can you believe that? So there's that there. So that's really important. Secondarily, you're also going to get, what is the other thing that you get? Oh, the food journal. We have a food journal. And food journal, what gets recorded, what is it? What gets measured improves. That's what Peter Drucker said. And that is true, especially with your food. And if you don't, if you're just kind of grazing and saying, why am I not losing weight? Well, make a record of it and find out. We have the timesheet for that. We have a timesheet, time blocking sheet, so you can find out where you're spending your time, where are you spending your calories, so to speak, where's your food going? How much are you really eating a day? Got to take a look at that. Got to take a look at the quality. The food journal will really help you out on that. So check it out. And then I'd be remiss not to mention that Full Bloom is happening. Gosh, it's less than a month away. Savingdinner.com/bloom for all the details. It is on Saturday, April 24th, all day long, where we're going to go to this journey of understanding I am enough. And I just have to say this is foundational and it's pivotal as well. I want you there. Even if that day doesn't work for you, I will send you the recording to have forever and ever, amen. We have swag bags that go with that, and they are on point. Can I just tell you? You will get one in the mail, and you'll also get a digital swag bag. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, the Full Bloom Boutique is almost open. So if you are signed up for Full Bloom, our Full Bloom pop-up boutique is coming up this week for sure. I don't know if it's open today yet or not, but it will be. So today is Transformational Tip Tuesday. I love today. I think it's fun. But what we're talking about in the whole context of transformation, especially for this week, is this whole entire week is going to be spent on belief. Yesterday we talked about not stopping to, don't stop believing. We talked about journey and everything. So it is belief week this week, because our beliefs are the things that shape us into going to the place of transformation, becoming motivated, desiring and doing things that maybe are just a little uncomfortable at first, kind of difficult to get started, but it is transformational. And so I thought about, what are the things in my life that really have moved the needle? This is nobody else's expertise. This is just my particular piece of the pie. Sorry if that triggered anyone, but I'm just going to share with you from my heart the 3 things that have just absolutely checked my thinking at the door, so to speak, and made me think things differently. These were the pancake diet things, the things that flipped and the things that really made a difference. You've probably heard me talk about them so much simply because they have been so effective in my life and so helpful. So here we go. You ready to get down that rabbit hole? The first one is from a book that I read, which I don't have over here, and it's about that choices are decisions. And I love this because, we have this whole idea that life is just this gigantic buffet of, well, I could do this or I can do that. I can choose to do this or I can choose to do that. But when we understand that it's not just a choice, it's a decision that we've made about our lives, then our choices become a little bit more weighted, a little heavier, a little bit more important. Really? Am I going to do this with the cheesecake, or am I going to make a different choice? Because as I make that choice, I make a different decision for my body, for the inflammation factor, for my nutrition, for my well-being, for my mental, everything. Everything is attached. When we make choices, those choices have trickle downs, and we're either going to pay the piper or we're going to be having a victory lap because we've made the right decision. That's what decision making is. Our choices aren't merely, well, just this once, or I'm just going to, because I was the queen of just this once, I'm just going to, well, it's a special occasion, whatever. But when I started to see that the very fact that I choose X, Y, or Z is actually a decision, and it's going to either move the needle in my life one way or move the needle in my life another way. There is no limbo. There is no gray. It's our bodies aren't like, our bodies are very, very accurate. They read the information that we put in them. Especially when it comes to food, it's like, this will work for me or this will not. This will give me what I need or this will not. This will help heal me or this will help hurt me. There's no gray. There is no gray. It's one or the other. And we need to understand this so that we can know what to expect, really. But this is how it works. It's absolutely transformational. When we start to see our choices as being absolute decisions in our lives, we move the needle. And I say this to you because I am hoping that you see the import of your decision making, that every single solitary choice is a choice for you or against you, because it's a decision. We think our decision making boils down to big stuff. We think of, well, am I going to choose this job or not? Am I going to, we think about our decisions as great big things, but we don't look at our choices as decisions. And I'm trying to get you to connect these two, because even the small stuff, even the, what am I going to have for dinner is a decision that is for you or against you. Underline that one, okay, will you? And really marinate on it a little bit, meditate on it, whatever you need to do. But choices are decisions. Yay and amen. And number two, this was a huge one for me, and this is only a few years ago. But when I started to understand the whole science of the brain and understand that my brain can work for me or against me, I got really intrigued and I started to do a deeper dive. What I found as I started to look at this was I wasn't as helpless as I thought I was. I wasn't as out of control, and there wasn't anything that I couldn't get past if only I got behind what was going on in my brain. This is why you're hearing me talk about the reticular activating system, looking for evidence to support the things that you want in your life. And then when you make a choice to stop looking at the crap that you've been looking at for all these years, and you start looking at the things that you actually want to have in your life, your reticular activating system will start seeking out the evidence to support that. I've seen this happen in my life. I've seen it happen in other people's lives. I never understood previous to this a few years ago how the brain works, and it's important. And when I learned this, then it was like, to me, it just clicked. The brain's like a dog, And speaking of dogs need to be potty trained, right? They need to be trained, housebroken, so to speak. Brains do too. You train them to do the things that you want to do by focusing on the things that you want to have. Want to, not the stuff you're necessarily focusing on right now. And that's when you got, make the decision, keep or toss. It's like cleaning out your closet. This doesn't fit anymore, get rid of it. Oh, I never liked that, get rid of it. Ooh, favorite dress, keep it. That's what we do with our thoughts. Go through, it's like cleaning a closet. Dump the stuff that doesn't serve anymore, that makes you feel bad, whatever, and bring in the stuff that you like. And remember that as you do this, you are training your brain to do the things that you want. And I do this at night too. When I go to sleep, I just start to think about, okay, so what do I want? What do I want this to look like? I did this till we got our house. Every single night I said, I'm laying in bed, I'm going to sleep, but I'm in my house on the water with a dock and a boat. I mean, I've like run through that thing. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. And I saw it in my mind's eye, not exactly that looked like this, just kind of random, whatever. There you go. There it is. I did the same thing with my weight. I saw in my mind's eye what I wanted to look like, what I wanted to feel like, the freedom that comes from losing all that baggage and everything, just all the way down the line, and it just happened. The choices, then back up to number one, my choices became different. My decisions were different because the decisions were very much focused on what I wanted, not what I had, but what I wanted. Because I think we get wrapped up in where we are, what we've had, and all of that, and that doesn't serve. Okay, we have a starting place, yay and amen, but let's go to this other place. Start building the bridge. And I always say to you, I'm going to give you every single tool that I know of and offer it to you to put in your own toolbox. But one, I can't put it in your toolbox. And two, I can't open your toolbox for you. And three, I certainly can't use the tools to build your bridge. But you can. And when you decide and make that decision to be willing, then the risk factor in your amygdala calms the heck down because you've just shown them who's boss. Because the amygdala is the part of the brain, danger, risk, I don't want to do, even if it's a crappy existence, even if, you're in a very bad situation, if that's what you have always known, that's what you're always going to do. And any kind of change, your brain's going to say, I don't think so. But if you can calm down your amygdala and just say, yeah, I'm going to do this anyway, and this is what it's going to be, and this is all good, then it'll shut up. The amygdala is very primitive. It's part of the monkey brain. But your big, your prefrontal cortex, that's the place where the sharp decisions and the abstract thinking happens. And that's also the part that works on your behalf as you consciously change your perspective and what it is that you're thinking about. You remember that because that's number three. What I think about expands. What I dwell upon becomes my destiny. Now that's a Robin Sharma quote. And all three of these things work together for your amazing good. What I think about, if I see myself and hear myself and conscientiously start thinking about my thinking and see that I'm going into this negative place, then we have a moment in time where we can say, you know what, that's enough. And this is why setting up your environment is so important, and having your quotes out in your quote deck and using your mindful mug, doing kitchen's closed. So you're lighting up your senses. You're doing something, you're hearing something, and you're just basically putting the whole world and your brain on notice that the kitchen is closed. I'm not going to munch after dinner. You see where I'm going with all of this? So if you make these decisions and start to do some of these things, setting up your environment, speaking to yourself, being conscientious of what you're actually thinking about. Do you want to let that thought expand? Do you want to dwell on that and have that become your destiny? Those are questions that you ask yourself. This is this quote, which I will forever be indebted to Robin Sharma for this quote, because it blew up the way I thought. I sat and thought on this. I meditated on this quote over and over and over again. And I thought, I remember speaking to a friend of mine who's, a weight loss expert. And I just said, you know what? These last 20 pounds have just been killing me. I just can't lose the weight. And she looked at me and she said, okay. And then I just went, oh my gosh, my head pretty much exploded. And I said, you're right. Why do I say things like that? When we say things like that, we're putting our body on notice. When we say things like that, we're telling our brains, hey, I can't do this. Make sure that doesn't happen, okay? Because we want cooperation between our ears. We want cooperation with what we're thinking about. We want cooperation in our choices, which are actually decisions. And we also want to make sure that what we are thinking about is expansive enough so that it's going to change the whole trajectory of what it is that we're going to ultimately end up with, because that becomes our destiny. And all three of these things, I have talked extensively about them, but I'm looping them all together because when I sat down to write today's show, that's what I thought. What has been the most pivotal things? What have been the things that have lit me up and kept me going in this last? I would say I've had a really deep, personal, transformational journey these last 5 years, especially, maybe 6. And these are the things, reading all the books and going to conferences and listening to podcasts, all of that stuff. I mean, I've done that forever. But what was it that changed my thinking? What was it that changed everything? And I'm going to tell you right now, as I've said, these 3 things: your choices are decisions. Your brain works on your behalf. And you train it to go one way or the other. It's up to you. And number 3, what you think about expands. What you dwell upon becomes your destiny. All 3 of these things were in the last few years, because I get stuck and I go back to the same negative loop. And the loops got longer and bigger. But what I noticed was I kept going back to the same old stuff. And there's a Bible verse that says, like a dog returns to his vomit. And it's just basically talking about being foolish. Why do we return to the same thing that has lit us up before and just gotten us back into the same place that we've always been? Why do we do that? Well, it's defined as foolishness. And for me, that lit me up as well. And it made me understand that if I am going to change my life, change what I'm doing, change all the things that need changing, then I'm going to have to take a different tactic. And I was one of these people who had all the diet books, all of them. Every single one of them. Well, now a lot of publishers sent them to me because I would write kudos for people's different books. A lot of publishers sent them to me, but I still had them. And you know what I did? First thing I would do, I wouldn't read anything except what's this plan about? Because that was my thinking. It was all about the plan, finding the perfect plan, finding everything. And that's why I went to this whole place of saying, that's the carousel of crazy, because it's the same thing that I've done for years and years and years and years, and it still hadn't worked, because my thought was there had to be a magical plan, just the right one. And when I understood that was all inside of me, when I understood, okay, here's some scientific things that you got to take in with the research and all of that, and when I recognized that it really was up here in my head, then any plan that I wanted to adopt could become my perfect plan, any of them. But it can't be until you get yourself off the carousel of crazy and recognize that here is where all the change happens. Because if you can get the change in your brain and in your head, you can get the change in your life. Anything you want. David Goggins wrote a book, and it's, Can't Hurt Me is the name of it. Now, the language in this book would just oh my gosh, wore me out. I mean, F-bombs for days. And this guy was a Navy SEAL. He lost 107 pounds in 3 months. I saw his diet. And I will not even repeat it because it was just something I wouldn't recognize. But he had a goal, 107 pounds in 3 months. He pretty much crashed it off, but everything he does is a crash and burn. He's the only Navy SEAL ever to do 3 hell weeks in a row or something. I don't remember exactly what it is. But his whole thing is stop messing around. Make a decision. And one of the things that I read about him was too, is motivation's crap. Dig deep, get inside, and understand that what you are made of is so much bigger than you give yourself credit for. And I love that. But it was all in his head. Started in his head. And if you read his story, I mean, he came from a horrible background. Alcoholic father who beat the living daylights out of him, his brother, and his mom. Escaping that whole thing, being teased. I mean, just his whole life. And he's black too. And so the racial junk that came with all of that, the junk he went through, the garbage he went through, and yet he overcame. Nothing stood in his way. And it was all because he got his head together so that he put it all into his game. And he became the Navy SEAL that he did. Now he does motivational speaking. He wrote the book, etc. But I mention him because even though he's not in our world, he recognized that choices are decisions and that his brain works on his behalf or it doesn't. It just depends on his decisions and choices. And that what he thought about expanded and what he dwelled upon became his destiny. All three of those things looped in and created the man who he is today. David Goggins is one person. Lisa Nichols is another. I can name a dozen other people. All of them have had stories that make our little potty stuff look so dinky. And yet we get wrapped up and pulled down by these old thoughts that have never served us at all. They've shamed us. They put us in a place of depression. Everything has held us back. The only way that we get out of circumstances that we are in right now is to make completely different decisions and understand that every single choice we make is a life decision. It is. Yeah, a piece of cheesecake, that's a life decision because that leads to another one and another one and another. I'm not saying you're to sit there and eat a whole cheesecake, but it leads to another sad, crippling decision. We can make decisions that are for us or against us. We can make decisions at any moment to move the needle for us in our lives. This stuff's transformational. And I hope you wrote those three things down. I hope you put them into your journal. And I hope this is something that will help you to move the needle in your life. And I hope too that you've already marked your calendar for April 24th for Full Bloom, because we're going to really get into this stuff in a very positive way. We're going to be gathering as a community, and it's going to be absolutely one of the best days. I promise you that you're going to invest in yourself. So go check it out at savingdinner.com/bloom. I want to see your name on that list. I really do. And I also want to say thank you so much too for showing up every day that you do, for sharing these broadcasts if they've meant anything to you, and for all of you who've made a decision to purchase your supplements from us. I don't take that lightly or for granted. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you tomorrow for Wise Women's Wednesday. Peace be with you.
Thanks for watching. You can find us on YouTube on the Saving Dinner channel or on the Saving Dinner Facebook page. Check back daily for new episodes, Monday to Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you miss live show, you can watch the replay. Until next time, pinkies up.